let's make some sense with all of this. Let's talk to Franziska Ohnsorge, who's the manager at the Development Prospects Group at the World Bank in Washington. Great to see you here. I know we're smiling away, but is there any good news in all of this?
There is some good news in the sense that vaccination is progressing, but the main thing that most of us are feeling is that the global economy is really in a pronounced slowdown, just like you said. All the three largest economies are slowing at the same time, and they're slowing steeply. And that's happening before the recovery is complete in EMDEs, in emerging markets and developing economies. As you said, output in emerging markets and developing economies will still be 4% below the pre-pandemic trend, whereas that in advanced economies will already have returned to trend. That drives up global inequality. It's as if emerging markets and developing economies were on a lower flight path than advanced economies. And not only a lower flight path, they're also flying with a tank almost empty. If any major risk materializes, and there are many, they don't have much room to support their economy, and that's why we're worried about a hard landing.
There really doesn't seem to be much wiggle room. So the choices that policymakers are going to have to make in the coming months, the coming years, that they're going to be crucial, aren't they?
That's right. I mean, as it is, even last year, that's one of the reasons why the recovery has been so uneven. Even last year, emerging markets and developing economies were already tightening their policies. More than a third had to tighten monetary policy. And 60% already last year, fiscal policy was a drag on growth, and that will continue. And this is one of the reasons why they're lagging so far behind. So it's, for many of them, it's back to basics. Tightening fiscal monetary policy because they don't have many options, and then raising growth, implementing reforms that boost productivity growth. And there's room for the global community to help with this.
There is room for that, but at the same time, everybody's going green. We're looking at high debt, we're looking at high inflation, but this drive to go green. So how important and how realistic is global cooperation going to be to help these developing nations expand their financial resources to that end?
But so these emerging market and developing economies, they have many development needs. And climate change is one of the factors that creates these development needs, because the economies are often hard hit by the natural disasters that come with climate change. But they also have other development needs. So they really need the room, the fiscal room, to spend and invest. And that is what the debt relief, the various debt relief initiatives that are underway, that is what they are aimed to do, to help the most distressed economies. But at the same time, the global economy can also help with something else. It can help by creating the open and rules-based global trade and investment climate that allows economies to grow their productivity.
Can we talk quickly about commodity prices? I mean, looking at the outlook for oil there. Let's make sense of it all. Explain it.
Okay, so what has happened, as you said, what has happened in commodity markets has been truly exceptional over the last 2 years. We've compared the gyrations in commodity prices over the last 2 years with those after past global recessions in the last half century. We've never seen such plunges or such rebounds. And it was, in part, yes, that was a result of the economic volatility, the deep recession of 2020, and then that sharp rebound of 21, and now the steep slowdown of 22 to 23. But it was also caused by commodity-specific shocks to both demand and supply, and a lot of these had to do with climate change. So take, for example, last summer. Last summer, the weather was very hot. That drove up demand for energy, for cooling, and at the same time, it's disrupted supply for renewable energy. So fossil fuel prices began to swing wildly. And with climate change, we may well be seeing more of such swings.
So what you're doing is highlighting all the terrible problems that the global economy has to tackle and has to handle.